ودلوقتي يهمنا ان احنا نعرف اكتر عن AIDC وقصة بدايته واسباب تميزه، وافضل من يكلمنا عنه هو السيد احمد عبد اللطيف، مدير معرض ومؤتمر الذكاء الاصطناعي AIDC. فليتفضل لإلقاء الكلمة.
Good morning, everyone. I'll conduct my speech in English again, just in honor of the foreign dignitaries who actually chose to be with us in the inauguration round of AIDC Squared. My name is Ahmed Abdel Latif, and I'm really privileged to be among you today. I'll try to give you a brief about why the idea of AIDC Squared came to fruition, and also I'll try to make you a little bit hopeful as well as a little bit scared, because of the opportunity that we're sort of looking at across the emerging markets. The scope of AIDC Squared is the emerging markets, so we're looking at Middle East and Africa, and I'm glad to see in the panels as well as the program a lot of people from markets that are really advanced in this area. This is the slogan or the tagline of the event, the Yottabyte era, and I don't think people have enough appreciation of the monumental moment in history that we're witnessing. For the first time ever, we have not only humans generating data, be it music or novels or videos, we have machines generating the same kind of content. Never before have we actually had this competition. As a species, we're now competing with systems that can actually outperform humans in certain aspects of creativity and business productivity. This has never been happening before, and that's why it requires a complete shift in mindset to actually address this. So the Yottabyte era is something that we're lucky to be witnessing, and again, this is no less than the shift from steam to electricity or the invention of the internet. I'm not going to waste a lot of time telling you about the event. I think Mr. Osama Kamal adequately and competently covered the event. Again, our intent here is to give a platform for the emerging markets to actually exchange ideas, exchange intelligence, and debate this. The good thing about this kind of industry is that nobody has a playbook for this. Nobody really knows how to actually play this game. There has never been a standard way actually of training AI systems or deploying these workloads and so on. So essentially, everybody here is learning, and we are here to learn from you and learn with you. And hopefully, when we convene again next year for AIDC Squared next edition, the lessons we'll learn today would actually have developed products and systems that we are all proud of. I just want to take a moment to thank everybody who chose to fly to Cairo to attend this inaugural event. I know November is an ugly month for everybody in the international corporate environment because everybody's rushing to finalize their 2025 years, get the budgets approved, as well as plan for the holidays. So it means a lot for us today that you chose to come to Cairo for this event. And the only thing I can promise is that we'll make your trip worthwhile with the content that we have actually prepared and with the networking opportunities that we put together for you to actually enjoy during 3 days. So thank you for joining us in this first AIDC Square round. The scope is very clear. Again, AIDC Square, it's straightforward to understand. We're very focused, razor sharp on AI and data centers and cloud. This does exclude some parts of the digital infrastructure industries that we thought wouldn't fit within our mandate. So digital infrastructure includes, on top of AI, the AI and DC and cloud computing systems, it does include fixed infrastructure, which is the fiber connectivity that touches our homes and enterprises. And it also includes the mobile infrastructure, the towers that actually manage either 4G or 5G. We chose to exclude this, so this event is focused on the core of digital infrastructure, which is the hubs of economic activity, and there is a lot to be covered there. So that's the scope of our event. This is a scary slide, and it's placed there for a reason. This comes from a famous report that was published about 4 weeks ago by Cushman and Wakefield. And this shows the growth in data center services across the 3 major areas of data center or digital infrastructure activity. Now, if you want to look at EMEA, Middle East and Africa is part of EMEA. The statistic is scary. I mean, taking into account the projects that are under development in the pipeline, and this is looking at an outlook of 18 months to 24 months. You're looking at doubling of that capacity. Now, let me stop here. How many industries do you know will double in the next 2 years? Automotive, pharmaceuticals, airlines. There is not a single industry that can claim they will double in the next 2 years. Let that sink in. This industry is singular in the global economy, simply because nobody else has such a potential for growth, and the infrastructure investments that are required to actually materialize this growth continues to flow unabated across the region. So I'm not going to compare us to North America or Asia Pac, although these are very interesting markets as well. But the fact that EMEA will witness over the next 18 to 24 months a doubling of the existing capacity supporting AI and data center and cloud computing is in itself a reason for us to be proud in this industry. You have to actually realize this as you execute your daily activities. We are unique in this world because our industry is such a singular industry, offering everyone in it potential for development and growth. There is also a national aspect here. I'll touch on that in a second. But we look with envy at countries like UAE, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and so on. These countries managed to actually look at this opportunity and develop a national strategy that allowed magnificent realization of economic value creation across the board. So there is a national ambition here that I think everybody here is, depending where you're from, is aware of, and we definitely want to actually spend some time talking about these national considerations during the panels as well as the networking opportunities we have lined up. If you don't have data, you're just another person with an opinion. So let's put some data. These are the biggest markets in EMEA, classified by, again, the same consultant. I just wanted to put some names there so that we have a target, an aspiration to look forward to. So I'm not going to waste my time talking about the established markets. They are mostly European and mostly known. Of course, the US is the leader. But if you look to the right of the slide, the emerging markets, this is the focus of this event, Middle East and Africa. You see a lot of familiar names. I personally am very proud to see Riyadh there, Abu Dhabi, Lagos, and Dammam. So these four cities have managed to put themselves at the forefront of growth in an industry that's very young and very dynamic. That gives hope to Cairo, Alexandria, Zafarana, Burj Al Arab. It gives hope to Marrakesh. It gives hope to, of course, Nairobi and Mombasa and all the other countries in the region, that whatever playbook that these countries managed to actually put in place to get them into that prestigious list is something that we all can learn from. So the funny thing about this is that 7 years ago, none of these cities were in the top 10. Riyadh was not there. Dammam was not there. Nobody was there. So what does that mean? There is also great potential for us to play catch up. No matter where you come from, there is definitely room to join this prestigious list and actually put your country's flag among those leaders in digital value creation. Again, just to put some data in perspective, this is putting every country that we spoke about under the same scale. To the right, you have the top countries in Europe. The size of the circle is the total megawatts. Our industry is measured in megawatts. So to the right, you have the biggest markets. And for scale, we have put Northern Virginia, which is the largest market on the planet, where all the big players are in the US. But to the left is where the interesting part of this slide is. This is the ranking of all the countries in the emerging markets. Along the scale. Some of these are emerging markets given the low level of megawatts or power supporting their industries. Some of them are developing. And of course, Abu Dhabi is a source of pride for all of us because Abu Dhabi happens to be ranked as an established market within the emerging markets or within EMEA. So I look at Cairo, for example, Jeddah, Doha, Nairobi, and I go back to my comment that these countries, if we take a snapshot next year, I'm hopeful that all these countries would have moved up the ladder to approach the middle of that scale. We look at Cape Town with admiration. Of course, Dubai is a fantastic example in development as well. So the message here is clear. This is a race. Make no mistake about it. This is a race at the national level before it is at the corporate level. And the reason companies continue to invest is that there are strong national mandates that are driving these investments. Countries have realized already that you don't want to lose this race. You don't want to be left at the end with no infrastructure to run your AI workloads, because that would put you in a very awkward position internationally. That means that you will have to actually outsource this to a neighboring country to run these workloads. And that's never a good advice strategically. So the race is on. Whether you realize it or not is irrelevant. There is an international race, and we already have clear indication who are the winners, or the leaders, I should say, and who are the laggards. So keep this in mind as you listen to the panels and engage with fellow industry professionals, because we definitely need to have this race in mind, because we owe it to our countries and our companies to deliver a winning strategy for this race. I'm going to go back to this slide. This is what keeps me up at night. I know my life is so boring, but let's take that discussion offline. A lot of people are fascinated by this particular map. This is a map of civilization in the 21st century. This gives you the top 40 data center markets in the world, and the size of the column on the map gives you the total megawatt dedicated to supporting the infrastructure. By the way, this was published merely 2 weeks ago, so this is really fresh. Now, what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that the global south is lagging. If you draw a map, a line across the map, the global south, which is Africa, Middle East, parts of Asia, is lacking in the digital infrastructure, whereas developed markets are way ahead. That needs to change. We're all here discussing Middle East and Africa because we realize that we have a lot of catching up to do, and it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely doable. This is achievable. But we need to understand that there is a gap in the middle. You see Middle East, you see Africa. None of the countries in the Middle East and Africa yet registered to be in the top 40. Of course, this will change because capacity comes online on a monthly basis. So I'm pretty sure that November, December next year, we'll see a stick somewhere in Abu Dhabi, a stick in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and hopefully something in Egypt as well. So this is a very interesting indicator of how value creation happens in the digital economy era. The yottabyte era is a live thing, and it keeps changing every day. And if you choose to ignore this, the ramifications for you are very dire. I don't advise anybody to ignore this. There is a race. I had a discussion about 2 weeks ago with somebody from the traditional economy, an agri-products company, and his position was that you guys are exaggerating. The technology guys are exaggerating. We grow potatoes. We don't care about AI. And his position was that I'm going to continue to grow potatoes. The world still needs to have potatoes to eat, so I'm safe. I'm okay. I don't need to worry about data center and cloud and so on. The problem is that's not really a wise position to take, because you can continue to grow potatoes the old way, but somebody else in another country is going to deploy an analytic engine to actually analyze their crop yields and their strategy for pesticides and predict weather, and they're going to end up with a better potato product. So you can have the best manpower, you have the best land. I come from Egypt, so of course I'm biased, but you're still going to be defeated in the international market. So even an industry as boring as growing potato can benefit from running AI. You cannot ignore this no matter what. Cement, automotive, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, everybody needs to adopt the way of doing things. Otherwise, somebody else next door doing it the right way will beat you to it. No kickoff presentation is ever complete without a football slide, so this is my football slide. And again, this is my cue to you, everyone, to grab a pencil, a notepad, and make use of the next 3 days. We have assembled as much as possible a really luminary group of executives across the Middle East and Africa space to exchange ideas. Outside this room, we're competitors. Business is war. Outside this hall, we're all competing. We are going to war. Inside this hall, we are students of business, we are students of war, and we're here to learn. I'm here to learn from everybody. I'm here to compare notes. I want to know how Abu Dhabi did it. I want to know how Riyadh did it, how Johannesburg did it, because I too have an aspiration to put Cairo on the map, or Alexandria, or Burj Al Arab, or some other city in this great country that we happen to belong to. So be prepared for a really serious engagement with everybody. Do not take this as just another trip to Cairo. Take it as an opportunity to understand how next year we all come back with success stories. And definitely I'm already looking forward to this success story, having actually had a morning of really fruitful discussion. With that, I'm going to close my presentation.